Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's Budget 2018 was majorly focused on agriculture, rural sector and food processing industry. Ronojoy Banerjee caught up with some of the top players of the packaged food industry and he asked them about the additional budgetary allocation to food processing, demand revival in rural areas and the import duty hike on certain food items. Here's a slice of that interview.
Mr. Narayan, let me first get your thoughts on the budget overall. Big focus, big rural push. Will that be enough to revive the sentiments and the demand?
Look, I can only say that the budget very clearly is a pragmatic budget. It has addressed one of the core distressed sectors of the economy, which is agriculture. Anything that we do in agriculture, be it in pricing, be it in inputs, be it in upstream, will certainly benefit not only the agrarian sector, but will also benefit the food processing sector. So I see this as and also incidentally, the food processing investments have been doubled from 700 odd crores to about 1400 crores. So clearly the steps are being taken in order to mitigate the situation in the agrarian economy. This seen together with an increased focus on some aspects of food processing, whether it is Project Green or whether it is increased investments, MSPs, etc. All this is definitely going to help the industry. Now the question is, these things are not a one-year finite horizon. Right. These would evolve over a period of time. So one hopes that this transcends into a longer, more stable set of practices that can actually benefit the agrarian economy and indeed the larger food processing industry. Okay, let's get Kellogg in also in this conversation, because this government's big focus has been on the food processing sector. As Ms. Narayan also mentioned, allocation has gone up twofold. But is that enough, considering the fact that rural incomes have been stagnant for the last 4 years, that the economic survey has also brought out, and that directly impacts all of us? Your thoughts on what we've seen so far?
I think enough is never enough, but I think it's in the right direction. 700 to 1400 crores is a big jump. I think that will help. I think the government is making the right moves to ensure that the food processing industry, which touches pretty much the agrarian industry in a big way and farmer income in a big way, it is going to help. Can we do more? Always. Can we do more with ourselves or with the government? Always. But I think it's directionally, like Suresh said, it's a balanced budget and it's moving in the right direction.
Let me get you, Mr. Malik, on the big elephant in the room as far as the budget is concerned, the hike in import duties on several items, especially many of the juices. The thinking was that this will aid Make in India. Can this do Make in India? Because many are wondering, do we even produce those kind of juices in India? Do we even have the capabilities to do that at this point?
I think Make in India is very important for India, for our economy, for our people, and anything that supports Make in India, we are all for it. Specifically to the increase in import duty for juice, which comes in the form of a concentrate. I think the increase in duty will end, because all these fruits are grown in India. There are oranges, there are apple, there is pineapple, which is grown. We need to, this will allow to support and in fact we will start using not from concentrate juice, which is way better than using the concentrated juice which typically gets imported. As ITC, we have been, we have a brand called Be Natural. We have been in the market for the last couple of years, and we are moving our entire portfolio from to not from concentrate juices, which will come in from the local farmer. It requires a lot of work because there is a technology adapting to the Indian produce, but I think that has to be done, and I think it's a great initiative.
Yeah, so net-net, then you support the government's strategic direction and thinking that this is going to help Make in India. So in that sense, ITC supports it.
Absolutely.
All right. Since Nitin, you're the numbers guy, and you do the research in the sector. Many are saying on this panel also 700 to 1400 crores is actually a big jump. But if you look at the allocation for the Sampada scheme, which was what, 6,000 odd crore rupees. So realistically, have higher funds been allocated, or is this just some sort of a mirage?
We've definitely seen a very big offtake. So 6,000 crores, which is less than about $1 billion distributed over 3 to 4 years. And this is just a small little contribution in the form of a grant that's coming from the government. There is a 5x multiplier factor on this in terms of the actual investment is coming in because the promoters bring in their money. And there's a larger spin-off effect in terms of maybe a 5x or a 10x in terms of the entire value chain developing. A lot of wastages getting reduced and a lot of improvement in farmers' income as a result of this. About 112 cold chain projects have been approved by the ministry in the last 2 years. In the last 10 years, 100 projects had been approved. So you can imagine what was earlier done in 10 years has actually been done in 2 years, and for the next 2 years they have a target to quadruple it. So in terms of the impact it can make, and it is making, it's in fact very tangible.